I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Talladega Superspeedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona International Speedway, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles, with a steeper 33-degree banking with guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969 was a stunning 199.46 miles per hour, almost 30 miles per hour faster than the Indy cars were then lapping Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant Bill Elliott's 212.809 mile per hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record. Talladega Superspeedway puts on 5 separate race events each year as host to NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity Series, Camping World Truck Series, and the ARCA Series. But tonight, it's the drivers from Lonestar Racing coming in with a next-gen Cup car for the Halloween Bash. One-off race. It's going to be a fun one here tonight. Race details for the event this evening. 100 laps, no cautions at all to speak of. That's going to be a fun one to watch. There'll certainly be crashes, I would assume. We do have, looks like 17, 18 drivers in store here for racing this evening, but 79-degree air temperature, 54% humidity, partly cloudy skies. Track temperature's up 123 degrees. You wouldn't think that means a whole lot considering we're at a super speedway, but with these next-gen Cup cars, things might be a little different. They're a little bit difficult to get a handle on. With that, I'd like to bring in our analyst here. It's Zach Millett. Thanks for coming in, Zach.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve.
So we're going to run it by you here. Again, the Next Gen Cup car is what we're running here tonight. I don't know if you have a ton of experience with that race car, but how are they on the super speedways? They a little bit more of a dance, so to speak, compared to maybe an Xfinity or a truck?
You know, I don't have a whole lot of experience in this car. They actually feel a little more stable to me, though, compared to the other ones. I feel like you can really beat and bash on each other, and I'd say the hardest thing in these cars is to break that bubble when you're running up on somebody. And if you can break that bubble and get to their bumper, you're going to make a lot of good time.
Well, with that practice just coming to a close here at the Speedway, going to jump right into the quali session. We'll see who takes to the Speedway first. Looks like Kevin Grettenberger going to roll. Now pay close attention to lap times here, folks. It's going to be a lot slower in the single car runs, of course. Everybody gets out there in the draft. Kind of split that wind resistance between the race cars. Everybody out there at once go a lot faster than the single car run. With that in mind, restricted engines, no, not running restrictor plates anymore. They kind of achieve most of that with aerodynamics and engine packages as far as horsepower is concerned. So it does still take about a full lap to get these cars up to full song. So Kevin's up there running that top lane, trying to build up some momentum.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're going to see most guys pretty much just sacrifice the entire first lap to just get a nice one lap run at it.
So green flag for the 57. Kevin Grettenberger.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and stay low here and go for it.
You get a lot of different opinions about what's fastest in qualifying on these super speedways. Some guys say lap 2. Some guys say lap 1 just because the tire temperatures aren't as up. Truck, or the car in this case, is a little bit lower to the ground. As those air pressures increase, the body comes up, which means so does the spoiler. Cody Anderson already in the stream chat, as he so often does. Hi, Steve. Hi, Cody. Got Sean Roberts. Good evening, Steve and Zach. Family events prevented me from participating tonight. This is going to be a fun race. Tough break, Sean. I was looking forward to seeing you out here. Either way, enjoy the family, and hope you guys are watching. Cody Anderson actually finishes his first lap of 53.77. Grettenberger, his first lap about 100th off of that. Go to Mike Fahey. While Mike continues his quali run, I want to make mention here, this is one of the special events with the Lonestar Racing Series, and I say that the league, the team across the board, Thursdays they're running the trucks, but right now we're in the Next Gen, and we're going to go back to the trucks for another special event here December 4th. It'll be 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. on the East. Toys for Tots charity race, they do this annually. It's always a very successful event. Those of you watching that might be interested in running, you have one fast repair in 100 laps. I believe it is at Fontana, California Speedway. Yeah, Auto Club, Fontana, California Speedway, whatever name you want to go by. It's the same place either way. $15 donation to it. And again, all the charity proceeds goes to Toys for Tots. Race admin Justin Johnson makes sure that there's proof of that donation after the race. So if anybody has any concerns, don't worry. That is addressed and addressed properly and very well every time. So if you guys are interested in running, check them out. Lonestar Racing on iRacing. First lap for Mike Fahey of 53.85. Not a quick lap, but not too far off Cody Anderson, 53.77. Saw draft laps about in the 51 area. Still a bunch of drivers that have not taken to the track. It's only a 5-minute session to throw 2 laps down. William Stocker in the stream chat says, I might not win, but the car is cool. The number 14. Oh, we'll make sure we get a look at it.
Probably going to be the best part of tonight, Steve. All these different paint schemes, the Halloween style cars.
Problem is, I don't see the car out there. I don't see a number 14 in the timing at all.
Maybe it's the ghost theme car.
We'll have to figure that out. Qualifying does come to its end. So we all know what that means. It's time to get to our starting grid here from Talladega Super Speedway, the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. On the pole position, it's the number 12 of Larry Cantoris Jr. out of Pennsylvania. To his outside, it's the 17 of Cody Anderson. Third place starter is Kevin Grettenberger, the number 57. Brian Rose with Track Bar Media and Holler Boys Racing starts in the 4th spot. David Ballard, the number 11, he starts from the 5th position. Bill Molfeld with WJM Motorsports, the 911 and Garza Law entry will start from the 6th position. Jeffrey Simpson, the number 42, starts in the 7th spot, with 8th going to Mike Fahey with Lonestar Racing, the number 19. Another Lonestar Racing entry, Drew Blaze in the number 1, starts in the 9th spot with, again, the race and league admin, Justin Johnson with Lonestar, starting in the 10th spot in the number 10, likely going to be an X on the door of that machine. Brian Zinn in the VD2, he'll start 11th with Drew Prohl starting 12th. 13th starter goes to Ron Hunter, the number 30. 14th, Vincent Short with Holler Boys Racing. Not 100% sure Vince is going to make it. He had to work late. It was going to be real close to cutting it. Vince may or may not be here, so we'll see how that shakes out. Ken Blackburn in the number 155, starts in the 15th spot. 16th goes to Lloyd Ryder, the number 13, out of the UK and I. Early morning racing for Lloyd Ryder. Bill Martin's going to start 17th with Hagrid's Racing. And last but not least, Lonestar Racing's own, the 421, Britt Osborne. It's your starting grid here from Talladega Super Speedway. Mike Fahey popping in the stream chat as well, saying Justin having some wheel problems.
Uh-oh.
Definitely not a good thing. Actually encountered someone with the same issues last night in an ARCA race I participated in. And unfortunately, I got the raw end of the deal, but we made it up. But yeah, wheel feedback just disappearing. Hopefully that's not the case for Justin Johnson. Reality is, as long as it's consistent, you can get away with it. I mean, if you don't have any force feedback, it's not necessarily the most fun experience, but you can drive that way. You know, some drivers, I think even, is it Drew Blaze that he races without force feedback, or was that Brandon Minnick?
I think it was Drew Blaze. I think he's got a new setup now, but yeah, he did that forever.
Well, field rolling off right now. Justin Johnson at the tail. Looks like Vincent Short not rolling either. Unable to make it back in time, so it does appear we might be at a 16-car field. So while the field gets formed up, one pace lap before we go under the green flag. I want to make special note here about In the Draft. They are the primary sponsor in the Lonestar Racing Truck Series as far as the feature winner of each event. It's my job as a broadcaster to make sure we put this logo up on the screen when we talk to our race winner each week. And unfortunately, I'm kind of slacking, so we had to make sure we had to make mention for them as we missed it. But we do have our race winner from last Thursday. That was Zach Millett. So Zach Millett, you're In the Draft feature winner.
Hey, better late than never, Steve.
No kidding. We're also going to make sure we have that logo running the entire race next week at Watkins Glen. So if you guys like what you end up seeing here today, make sure you tune in Thursday for the Lonestar Racing Truck Series in Watkins Glen. That's going to be a good one. I think they're running 65 laps, if I remember correctly.
I think so. I think it's longer than the last week's car race, but I think, yeah, it's probably like 61 to 65 laps. Should be a good time.
Well, wait and find out. It's one of those races that I wish I wasn't behind the mic and I was behind the wheel so I can fight for second place, because Millett's probably going to run away with that one.
I think you should jump in and just do both. Just, you know, do the broadcast from behind the wheel. I think that'd be a pretty cool angle on it.
Drag my other computer up here so we can watch the race, call it while I'm driving. Yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
We better try it. It's going to be sweet.
Pace car pulls off. Again, long ways down to the start-finish line. It's not in the middle of the tri-oval like we're used to seeing at Daytona. pretty cool that they've set that up the way that they have. It's been that way since day one, but the green flag waves, and we're underway from Talladega Superspeedway. First lap complete here from Talladega Superspeedway. Brian Rose has jumped out to the early lead. Cody Anderson runs second. Larry Cantoris Jr. was third, now fourth. Bill Mulfeld now up to the third spot with Mike Fahey running fifth. Down the back straightaway, everybody's trying to get gathered up. We got a car way below the line. That is the 48 machine. Again, number not matching up with the timing tower. Not sure who that is. Cody Anderson retakes the top spot. Brian Rose slips a little bit. Car loose. Car into the 19. We got trouble off the turn number 4. Again, no cautions here. That's the number 19. Again, don't know who that is because it also does not line up with the timing tower, so we're just going to press on. Maybe Lloyd Ryder. Okay, Lloyd should be the 13. He's actually running the 19. He had some trouble off turn number 4. Let's get a look at it. Pretty solid hit to that inside wall.
I'm telling you, Steve, anybody running that paint scheme this year, including Truex himself, has just had nothing but terrible luck.
Definitely snake bitten. So we're trying to keep track, guys. Usually in the league sessions, we can get everybody's paint to match up with their car number in the session. So unfortunately, the visual reference that we have in the actual stream is, well, it's the car number. So we look at that, try to match it up with our timing data, and it can be a little difficult to track those drivers down, but we'll make the best of it and press on here. I know it was the 19 is actually the 13 of Lloyd Ryder, so let's try to make a note of that. So Will Stocker updated us. It looks like he's in the 24. No, Bill Martin is in the 24, unless that is Bill Martin. William, Bill, different last name. I don't know. Either way, I think, Zach, you pointed out the 24 early on in practice, it being a sharp-looking paint scheme, and it certainly is.
Yeah, that's a cool-looking car. That's in my top 3 of favorite schemes in this race for sure.
Would have been top 2 if it wasn't a Ford.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
So Will Stoker, I think, is the name in YouTube. I think that's probably Bill Martin. So it is a pretty good-looking paint scheme, so it would make sense. Riding on board, it's Ron Hunter. Tucked in behind Britt Osborne. Osborne sporting the Holler Boys Racing TV logo on the back bumper. That's the old school logo. I kind of like it. So there is a pretty big separation here. You can see the distance way up in front, the lead pack. I find it interesting, though, as we ride on board with Hunter, he is lifting quite a bit, even through the tri-oval. I can't imagine that's to keep the car underneath him. Maybe he's just trying to save fuel, but you hear that throttle trace going up and down.
Yeah, I think the only person that's really got to worry about fuel is the leader, unfortunately. Whoever's in the head of the pack, chances are they're all going to try to pit together anyway if there's any kind of strategy to, teammates or such.
And I don't know if we covered it in the open, but as far as fuel is concerned, it's a 35% fuel load that the drivers are allowed to work with tonight, so you're going to see pit stops a lot earlier than you may expect. They do have an unlimited supply of tires, though, again, being Talladega, not likely to make huge differences. I mean, what's your kind of strategy when you're out running a super speedway, specifically Talladega, because tires kind of do play a part at Daytona later on in the run, but I mean, what's your pit strategy typically when you're out here, whether it's a car or a truck, as far as your tires are concerned?
You know, honestly, it's more or less whatever my teammates are doing. Whatever they're doing, I'm with them. I'm just going to try to stay right with them. If they don't want to take tires, great. If they do, heck, I'll do it too. And as long as we're staying together, that's all that matters.
Now, as far as handling on the cars, does it really make a huge difference? I mean, can you run a full distance race here at Talladega, at least 100 laps? I mean, we're a little more than a half distance cup race here. Can you go without changing tires? Is it really doable?
Yeah, I think so. I think you could probably do it. I don't know. With fuel being on such a low percentage, it's not going to take very long to fill the tank. So you might just be better off taking one side at a time.
You know, my experience in the past running the super speedways, especially at like Talladega, the only time the tires really are a benefit is to help you make more aggressive moves. You know, it's not necessarily going to affect your lap time, but if you're trying to kind of surprise a guy and pull out to pass quickly and still keep the car underneath you, that's really where it comes into play, at least on my end. I don't know if you experienced something similar, but...
Oh, definitely, yeah, and absolutely, like Daytona, for an example, coming off 4, you know, if you want to shoot to the outside, you want the tires to give you a little more confidence.
So Drew Blaze out in front of this one currently. That lead has changed up quite a bit, a bunch of times. Ryan Rose had it for a bit. Kentoris Jr. again started on the pole. Now it's Drew Blaze. Currently the number 13/19 of Lloyd Ryder, the only car not on the lead lap. It's really not going to help these guys because there's no cautions. There's no lucky dog to be concerned with because that yellow is just not going to happen.
Now, Steve, in a situation like this, what's your strategy? If you know there's no caution, do you kind of ride towards the back, take your time, let whatever's going to happen and just survive, or try to get up there in the front and just, you know, stay ahead of it?
Well, I mean, there's no stages, so there's no really benefit to being at the front, but it's a lot harder to hit somebody that's wrecking in front of you if you're leading. So,
that is
I mean,
true.
It's, I don't know, you talk to different guys in racing in general that have run these things, and half the group will tell you, yeah, well, I'd rather be, you know, wrecked while I'm leading than get caught up in somebody else's problem. And the other guys think, oh, well, I'll ride out back and not get involved in the aggression so I don't wreck up my race car later on. And either way, you've seen guys out front leading the race, they get wrecked. You've seen guys in the back that are just trying to save their stuff to the end, and they get involved in a wreck. It's just, it's luck of the draw, personally. I mean, personally, I want to be out front. You know, if I'm going to get wrecked, I want to look good while I'm doing it, and being out front is the place to be, but I don't know if there's really tried and true method.
Yeah, I think whatever's going to happen is just going to happen.
Tough break, though, for Justin Johnson. I know he always looks forward to these things and wasn't able to take the green flag, having issues with his wheelbase. It's a real thing. I mean, just because we're sitting in front of our rig or a computer or whatever we've got, just like real race cars, there can be a failure. There can be an issue. You've seen guys in the past that are sitting there on the grid getting ready to start the race and the car doesn't start. Like, well, it ran in practice great yesterday, but now it won't fire.
Yeah, it's just terrible timing, terrible luck. Got to feel for him.
It's like Zach Millett just got a new GPU, and he's like, oh, I want to put this thing in. And I said, you know, why don't you wait until after the race? Because, you know, it's like changing an engine right after qualifying. Yeah, you're going to go to the back, but if there's a problem, maybe you don't start the race. And we don't want Zach to miss this.
Yeah, that would have been my luck, too. As soon as I popped it in, something would have went wrong. And, yep, I'd be running over to Beetle's house to help coverage this.
Well, that's the thing, too. It's like I also got a GPU Thursday prior to the Lonestar Racing Truck Series race, and it took a lot of discipline to not throw that thing in. I could have done it because I did it after the race, and it took me, you know, half hour to get it in and reset and configured the way it needed to be. But if something happened, sorry guys, no broadcast tonight.
I was gonna say, right after the race, myself and Chris Goins jumped in the green room and we're waiting for you, and you must have jumped right off and put that in immediately.
Oh yeah, right away. Pit stop's underway here from Talladega. Everybody pulls down pit lane. Drew Blaze, wonderful job getting down into the pit lane, as well as Mike Fahey. Locks him up a little bit. We'll see if he opts for tires or not. Just about everybody and their brother stays on track, with the exception of Bill Mulfeld and the 24 of Bill Martin.
Probably one of the keys to the race, Steve, is not speeding on pit road. If you get stuck for 40 seconds on pit road, come out all by yourself, it'd be just a nail in the coffin.
You're absolutely going to lose a lap. I mean, your only benefit there is if guys start wrecking or making their own mistakes. But Brian Rose, quick stop, fuel only for just about everybody. When he gets in and out, he's going to retake the lead from at least the drivers that pit. Again, Ron Hunter stayed on the racetrack in the number 30. Let's see if he opts to hit pit lane. We're only 13 laps in, and these guys already need fuel. That is interesting.
I think that track bar media just a stop and go. He made some serious time up there.
We're looking at 7 to 8 pit stops tonight.
Holy cow. You talk about discipline coming to pit road that many times, it's going to be tough.
But that's just it. I mean, you made that point exactly, Zach. I mean, don't speed. Well, now you got 7+ opportunities to screw it up.
That might be enough reason right there to take 2 tires every time, just to help with your pit entry.
Got Vincent Short in the stream chat. Sorry, fellas. Duty calls. Had a sick rap for this one, too. Tough break because Vince really runs great on these super speedways as well, and I'm sure Brian Rose would have loved to have at least a drafting partner out there. He's kind of on his own island with Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey to the back bumper of that number 89 machine, and he is all over that back bumper.
I was hoping to see Vincent's car out here. I think it was Fahey that designed it. It's a pretty cool looking car.
You see how close Drew Blaze is to Brian Rose. Got inside the radiator of that number 1 Mustang.
Oh, Drew, if you're watching, the front of your car is awfully clean.
I gotta say, Drew and Mike Fahey both put out some pretty damn good paint schemes every chance they get.
Yes, they do, and they're always updating them sometimes every race, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm doing stuff like that, I may have a paint to 3 at the most, depending how long the season is, and kind of mess around. But these guys, they don't mess around at all. They always changing things up. A new sponsor goes on, well, that's an opportunity to change up that livery.
And they do start to finish, front to back, and I might put a picture of Michael Myers on the side of mine and call it done.
There you go. So green flag stops have certainly spread this field out far and wide. See Cody Anderson going down a lap on the back straightaway. Must have made his pit stop without any drafting help. Then again, I'm not sure. Maybe he had an issue early on.
Scraped the wall a little coming out of 2 there. Hopefully his car's handling okay.
So Cody pitted lap 11. He's currently 1 lap down.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Little technical difficulty there, not sure what has caused it. Internet in the house stayed pretty good for quite a while, no issues there, but something was definitely off. We lost iRacing for a brief moment, and then the stream went with it. But we are back up and running. We are recording, though, so the balance, if it happens again, we'll still have all of that, so no worries. Meanwhile, up front, Brian Rose is retaking the top spot. Mike Fahey is second. Drew Blaze, Brian Zinn, Drew Prohl. Those are your current top 5. Further down the field, Larry Contreras Jr., the pole sitter, running 6th. Ken Blackburn 7th. Kevin Grettenberger 8th. Britt Osborne is 9th. 10th is Ron Hunter. Bill Mulfeld 11th. Jeff Simpson is 12th. That is your lead lap cars. Then 13th is Bill Martin. 14th, Cody Anderson. Dave Ballard 15th. Lloyd Ryder, after an early race incident, 16th. And then, of course, Justin Johnson, Vincent Short, respectively, 17th and 18th. Justin has made it back on the track, albeit about 15 laps down, but going to give it a go here, 17 laps down. Again, he put all the time, work, and effort into this. He wants to at least go out there and try and run some laps.
If you guys get a chance, jump over to Twitch and look up LSR Gaming X, because you can see Justin Johnson racing as Michael Myers, full costume. So it's pretty neat.
That is awesome. I forgot he was going to do that, so that was a big key to it. Racing in costume. Again, this is the Halloween Bash. A pretty cool deal. While we have an opportunity, we do have some sponsors, of course, that have a big part in this. We want to get thanked. Oh, that is not the right one. Why is it doing that?
Merry Christmas, Steve.
It's just one thing after another. Pit stop's underway once again. Doesn't take long. 25 laps in. Brian Rose in the pit box.
Ooh, Brian misses his box, has to back up.
That's huge. That is a huge mistake for Brian Rose. Going to cost a lot of time on the racetrack for that. But again, only fuel for the number 89. He's going to go down and away here. 25 laps in, quarter distance. No real need to take tires yet. We talked about that early on.
I don't see anybody around him, though. He's coming out alone. Or is he that far back?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe these guys know. Everybody took fuel again.
Brian Rose in that 89 car, getting him to dress up for his stream as well, but he wouldn't take the bait. He wouldn't do it. No, he was, I don't know. He guess he didn't have an idea for a costume. Who knows? But he streams over on Twitch as well at brose304.
"26 laps in, new leader now Ron Hunter. Now Ron has not made his second stop of the day. Looks like everybody else has. Now, little discrepancy here between pit stops. Brian Rose went in lap 24. Drew Blaze was lap 25. Brian stays out in front of Drew, but looks like Drew doesn't have any drafting help either. There's a big gap from the 89 back to the 1, and an even bigger gap from the 1 back to the 4th place car, Brian Zinn. That's the number 82 machine.
It's definitely starting to look like a carburetor cup.
Well, as far as getting everything spread out.
Yeah, basically a game of survival and just not making any mistakes, basically.
But it's, again, 100 laps. We're still talking over a half-distance cup race. They typically run, I think, 188 laps for full 500-mile event. At 100 laps, I think we're 266 66 miles and change. So, again, we talked about that reduced fuel load. That's going to cause a lot of anxiety amongst these drivers as far as getting in and out of pit lane without any struggles. Currently 11 cars on the lead lap. Checking on Brian Rose again out front, currently enjoying a just over 2-second advantage over Drew Blaze. I don't know if there's enough of a draft coming out the backside of the number 89 for Drew to pick up on that. In fact, he does lose a little off of turn number 2, but you see from this shot here, there is nobody anywhere near either one of these drivers right now. And if Brian Rose catches a slower lap car, he could probably just use that lap car as a drafting partner and check out from Drew Blaze.
You know, Steve, I'm wondering if Mike Fahey got a penalty or something, because he was right there with Drew, and that would explain why he's kind of far back.
Well, looking at it, Fahey's pit time was only 7 seconds and change, so there was no pit stop penalty per se. He pitted lap 25. There's not an additional stop. His pit lane time was awful short. Brian Rose was 36 seconds. I don't know. We can probably see if I can pull up his pit entry and exit and see if there's anything oddball that we can see there. Gotta have to scroll through everything here. Yeah, there's something iffy here. Looks like Mike Fahey left the pits twice.
He might have unchecked his fuel by mistake. That could be.
Well, let's watch here. Mike Fahey,
something.
pit entry. Well, that's interesting. It just plops him in there. Did he have an issue? Did he crash? No, he would be a lap down.
Starting to think this whole race is kind of haunted or something. There's some weird stuff going on.
Well, like I said, we had this happen to us at North Wilkesboro in the SCAR Premier Series a while back, and as soon as the green flag came out, everything crashed. Not just the stream, everybody's iRacing system, everything crashed.
You know, if anything, Steve, that did provide us with one of the funniest videos I've ever seen, though.
What's that?
That was the one where...
Oh, in Wilkesboro, yeah.
Yeah, where you had your new computer all set up, ready to go. The colors were nice and bright. And they come off turn 4, green flag is out, and what happened?
Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Honestly, since we stopped multicasting to YouTube and Facebook, and it really seems to have cleaned up a lot of the problems. We haven't had a single issue with the stream as far as it dropping out, literally until 10 minutes ago. It seemed that going to one platform instead of 2 at the same time was kind of the way to go, but once in a while, everything, it is all internet-based, and it's not 100% reliable no matter where you go. So once in a while, things kind of crap out. Luckily, we were able to get the thing reconnected and back up and running. We didn't miss too much. We were about to go to break anyway at that point, so it was kind of good timing, right?
Yeah, it worked out.
Brian Rose still out front. That gap is shrinking slightly, 1.85 seconds, the difference between Brian Rose and Drew Blaze. But if you look back at Drew Blaze, look what he's got. He has a drafting partner, the 155 machine. That's Ken Blackburn. So that gap is going to close significantly, as it already is. It's down to 1 full second. I wouldn't be surprised to see both these drivers just cruise on by Brian Rose here. Brian's going to have to pick up the draft off the one of Blaze here just to stay with him.
Yeah, Brian, hopefully he doesn't get passed down on straightaway. It's going to look like that's exactly what's going to happen, unfortunately. But he's going to have to pick up this draft if he wants to stay with him. Huge speed difference there.
I'm really surprised that he didn't tuck right in behind Drew. I know it was only for a moment before Drew slid back down to the low side, but every second you can get tucked in behind the guy with that slipstream, it's going to make a big difference.
Looks like he's got it. I think he's going to be okay. He's probably going to get a heck of a run here. Let's see if he maybe slingshots back by.
So you see that. I know in a lot of the trucks, the ARCA series, you can get a big run like this, but this next-gen car with all the downforce being generated from the underside of the race car, they don't punch as big a hole in the air as they used to, so the draft and that run that you can build, not quite what it used to be. Obviously, Brian's up to speed here at pace. He's able to hang on to the draft, but he's not closing in considerably. Still about 3 to 4 car lengths off the back bumper of Drew Blaze.
We know how Brian races, too. He could be saving fuel. Maybe he's just cruising back there half throttle.
Closes right up, though. Less than a car length now off the back bumper of Drew Blaze, but let's see, they pit at lap 24, so we're about 2 or 3 laps away from another round of pit stops.
Oh, wonderful.
It is kind of cool, though, because it forces these drivers to be disciplined in pit entry and pit exit. You know, it's something that most of the leagues that we broadcast, there's not a lot of pit stops because the races tend to be a little bit shorter. There might be 2 or 3. But here we're going to have, like I said, upwards of 7, almost 8 stops. You got to be perfect every time because you screw it up once. Like you said earlier, Zach, it's going to cost you 40, 50 seconds. And when you're turning laps at 50 seconds, you're done. I mean, there's no cautions. You're not getting caught up.
Yeah, there's just no chance.
So Drew Blaze has got basically the catbird seat right now. He's out in the lead, but he's got a car in front of him to kind of break up that draft so he doesn't have to get all that air on the nose of his car. So he's actually in a position to save some fuel even though he's the leader. Zach, you had mentioned that early on, is the leader out there typically is going to burn the most amount of fuel every lap, but in this case, Drew Blaze has someone to kind of do that for him.
Yeah, it's going to make all the difference this run. If these guys can stay together, they'll probably run together the whole rest of the race. But these lap cars being kind of sporadic around the track are going to be kind of helpful cars for them, you know, picking up drafts here and there if they need it. Curious to see if they're going to stay on the same strategy, though.
Well, again, Drew and Brian, they pit at different laps. Brian came in at 24. Blaze was the next lap. It's all relatively similar, but it seemed that Brian jumped down to the bottom there. I wasn't sure if he was making a move or just trying to get Drew distracted there. That was an interesting move for the 89.
Oh, here comes Drew.
And off turn 4, pit stops underway once again. Now new leader Kevin Grettenberger takes over the top spot. Fuel only once again for Drew Blaze. Brian Rose, same thing, doesn't take tires. Blaze is already up to speed, though. He's going to exit pit lane ahead of the 89. Really, no, maybe not. Might have been a tie on leaving the pit road. Doesn't really matter, though. The best news, really, for both of these drivers is they're out there together. Not to sound kind of silly, but they need a drafting partner, and they've got one right now. Drew Blaze. Oh, Brian Rose, real loose. Saves it, or does he? No, gathering it back up. He's probably going to get an unsafe pit exit for that. Got that car way out of shape up above the yellow line. That's probably going to do it for Brian Rose.
Oh, I've heard of the broadcaster's curse, Steve, but that was T. Sykes timing right there.
No, that was both of them we were talking about. If that was true, they both would have wrecked.
That's true.
Yeah, Brian Rose all out of sorts here. Looks like he's going to dump down to pit lane here in a moment. We're going to see if he peels off the racetrack, but he is not quite up to speed. 4 other cars have gone by, and does he peel off? He's going to.
Yeah, looks
unsafe
like the penalty.
Pit exit. Pit penalty for Brian Rose. Again, an unsafe exit, or I guess you could call it a blend line violation. It was unintentional, but that blend line is there for safety. Back in the day, these guys would leave pit lane and immediately get out on the racetrack and down to the bottom of the racing groove. Caused a lot of wrecks over the years, but they've changed the rule, so now there's a cone. You have to leave at a certain point. I don't know if Brian is going to serve this and get back out there, or if he's just going to call it a day, because, again, without cautions, I don't see how he's going to be able to make that time up.
That's a 40-second penalty, isn't it?
I think so.
Boy, that is tough. That's basically a lap.
Well, it's 40 seconds plus the time down pit lane, which if you drive straight through, I think is about 20 seconds. So it's over a lap.
Yeah.
See Kevin
That's a
Grettenberger in
shame.
his box as well. Fuel gets back out there. Brian Rose, no 30-second penalty, not a 40, but either way, not good. So I guess the only saving grace here for Brian Rose is this could still happen to anybody else in front of him. Tell you, the one thing that I'll say is, for number one, Justin Johnson has done a great job with this league, this team, getting this all set up, all these charity races and fun runs that he does. It's a good league to be a part of, but if I have to critique one thing, and it is nothing but constructive criticism, I would have put a 50-lap caution flag in it, a 1 halfway break. So if there's issues like this, and it's not just for Brian Rose, it could be Drew Blaze or Mike Fahey or Cody Anderson or any of these guys. Let's get everybody caught back up. Let's restart this thing. Go have another go at it. I mean, we're at a super speedway. It's about pack racing, right? Get these guys all caught up. But other than that, it's been a pretty good race so far. We've plenty of drama, of course, with Brian Rose with his issue leading pit lane. Now Brian Zinn is your new leader. Drew Blaze second. Brett Osborne, Kentoris, and Grettenberger your top 5.
Touch on that too, Steve. It actually keeps people from leaving the race too if they have too much bad luck right at the beginning, because they know maybe they could get back into it that halfway stage.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have one simple issue, I mean, again, this is a fun race. This is not a championship series with 10, 20 races in it. This is just a one-off kind of deal that they're doing, and give everybody a shot. There was a little bit of a entrance fee to help out with things, and minimal, but still. Currently Brian's in, though. An unfamiliar name to me, at least. I haven't seen him in the LSR races, but of course Justin got this out in the social media world, and certainly guys caught wind of it, wanted to be a part of it. You know who I'm surprised we didn't see in this? It's Chris Goins.
Yeah, Chris Goins and Keaton Burnett.
And Keaton had planned to run it. I saw some comments on it earlier on that I guess he had yet to accept the invite. Again, talking about administrative duties, Justin had changed things over from running these races in just basic hosted sessions and switching them over to league sessions. It kind of helps get all these drivers squared away with driver numbers, because that was a big issue in previous races, because you can't really keep track of who's in what. They can come in here with a custom number paint and it will display whatever number they want regardless of what the session has them assigned to.
Yeah, it's a shame too. I'd like to see Keaton Burnett out here drifting around and see what that 3090 Ti of yours can make the smoke look like.
Keaton Burnett drifting around Talladega at 190 miles an hour.
He can do it.
Yes, he can. We watched him drift in practice in the SCAR Premier Series at Watkins Glen last week. He drifted at least off turn 11 all the way up through the S's without a problem. I didn't see if he got through the bus stop at all, but that man can sling that thing sideways.
He can also park it on top of a pit road barrier like nobody else.
We saw that too.
He's good at it.
Sean Roberts in the stream chat got into this group through last year's Toys for Tots race. Yeah, Sean, I'm pretty sure I covered that one. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive. Good to have you around. It's been fun to watch you over here, even on the road course side of things. Hopefully, if you run that road series, I think they're running Indy cars next. I hope you start seeing some kind of witch doctor or whatever to get some better luck, because you had some pace, man, but you had absolutely no luck.
Yeah, it's always fun running Sean. He streams as well on YouTube. If you look up Sean Roberts on YouTube, he's got a bunch of videos on there. Usually uploads them right after the race. Hopefully we'll see you this year in the Toys for Tot race. I'm thinking about running it as well.
There you go.
It was a great cause. Great deal.
Now, speaking of some sponsors here, we did have a plan to have sponsors displayed in tonight's stream. I had it all set up, and Zach Millett even approved it for us.
Did, yeah.
But for whatever reason, I can't get it to display, so I want to go through it at least. We had some nice fancy logos that these guys certainly spent some time on. Drew Blaze Motorsports, of course, Fahey Race Wraps, LSR Gaming X on Twitch, the Garza Law Firm, Nueve Designs, and of course, In the Draft. We talked about them earlier. Of course, it is the In the Draft feature winner. No, not yet. We're not there yet. We're not even halfway, but I want to make sure I get them out there as much as possible because, again, shame on me. I've been not doing a great job at getting them out there. But if I can get that posted here tonight, we'll certainly do it. Worst case, we'll get it posted post-race on Facebook, facebook.com/HBRTV and the number 1. We'll have some post-race pictures of our top 3 and, of course, the sponsors that had a lot to do with this fun race tonight.
I personally think that's one of the best parts is the pictures afterwards. You make those things look pretty darn real.
You know, and the thing with that is, I don't know. I mean, there's lots of different broadcast platforms out there. I won't name them just because we're talking price, but everybody has their price, okay? You know, I charge what I charge. Some other company may charge what they charge. And I feel like we put on a pretty good product, but I don't charge for things that come into it, like after, you know, their post-race pictures. I think it's just fun. It's a value add, but I think they look great. You know, the drivers that finish in the top 3, I always send them some pictures, and I think Sean Roberts has maybe even got one too in the past, and Drew Blaze and yourself and many, many others. It's just a nice, positively nice add to things after the race, and you're right, Zach, they do look pretty sweet.
Well, it's one of those things, you know, you get what you pay for, and to me personally, it's the little things that matter, and those things definitely matter.
So out front still, Brian Zinn with the lead. Drew Blaze, I think he's playing it smart here. He's third in line, second in the standings. You've got the 48 car. I'm still not 100% sure who that one is. Is it David Ballard?
B.
It is David Ballard. Okay, well, that sums that up. David Ballard in the session as the 11, pictured there in the number 48. So with Drew Blaze running there just behind the 48, he's got 2 cars ahead of him that are kind of breaking up that, all the air that's going to hit the nose of his race car. He's still saving plenty of fuel. In behind him is Britt Osborne, pole sitter Larry Cantoris Jr., and Kevin Grettenberger. That's the top 5. Grettenberger, I think, is, yeah, he's quite a ways back in 5th, 22 seconds to be exact, almost a half a lap. So though there are 5 cars in this lead pack, only 4 of them on the lead lap, but Drew Blaze doesn't care. That 48 car just ahead there, just helping Blaze save more and more fuel. If he can stretch this and make it just a 7-stop race, that could be pretty good. Eddie Rose in the stream chat. HBR TV does a great job. Hit him up. Thanks for the plug, Eddie. I certainly do appreciate it. Eddie Rose is actually Brian Rose's dad. Brian Rose still out on the racetrack, and did he stay on the lead lap? No, he did not. Brian Rose, after his pit road exit issue, currently running 11th, 1 lap down, and pit stops underway once again. Brian Zinn now leads the pack down pit lane under the green flag. See if Grettenberger stays out again this time. Looks like he's going to. Fuel only once again. So we talked about early on in the race about not taking tires. We're halfway, and I don't think anybody has taken tires yet. Have you seen anybody change tires?
I think I have, no.
Cody Anderson now down pit lane, as well as Mike Fahey. Anderson gets the right sides in the grass just a hair. That's scary to have happen while you're under braking.
Oh yeah, and it looked a little quick too. I hope he got it woed down.
Mike Fahey just in behind. Fahey, of course, another cool paint scheme on that number 19 Ford. Oh, has to back it up.
Still waiting for Sykes to come in here and deliver his prediction. He's been spot on lately.
Justin Johnson just behind. Glad we got to see the number 10 / the X Lonestar Racing Mustang out on the racetrack. Cool looking paint scheme as well for Justin. Again, he had his issues early on trying to get his wheelbase to cooperate. Didn't work out. He somehow even has Michael Myers on the windshield brow of that Ford Mustang. Again, if you guys aren't understanding why that's significant, Zach had mentioned it early on. LSR Gaming X on Twitch. Justin is racing tonight in a full Mike Myers costume. That is pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
Car looks like maybe he hit a deer or something on the way to the racetrack.
Or about 12 turkeys.
Or 12, yeah.
Kevin Grettenberger on pit lane as the leader, as is Brian Rose. It's one thing that makes me crazy is that whole shadow box thing.
Yeah.
Driving through other drivers, you know what I mean?
Well, some leagues, they really do make it a point to eliminate that, and make it so if you're caught driving through more than 2 boxes, you're penalized. I think it's a stop and go in most cases.
Yep.
But it really does clean it up.
Disadvantage to it is you need a live race admin that's not in the race to enforce it.
Yeah, and that would be a long race to watch sitting there on pit road.
Well, just past halfway, we're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll go side by side or nonstop or however we want to call it. But you won't miss a minute of the action. We'll stay right here with it. We'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega Super Speedway, the virtual Talladega Super Speedway.
Lonestar Racing Halloween Bash, 55 laps in of 100. Drew Blaze now with the lead. Brian Zinn now relegated back to the second position, and Britt Osborne, the 421. That is your current top three. In all reality right now, Zach, it looks like, unless something crazy happens, our top three, likely that is where our winner is going to come from, as position 4, 31 seconds in the rears and no caution flags to speak of. If the top three can remain mistake-free, likely the best chance at winning this race.
Yeah, there's really no strategy to it anymore. They all really get the same mileage, which isn't much, and if they stay together, it just is what it is.
As far as pit strategy goes, again, we talked about it a bunch already tonight. They've made 4 pit stops to this point for the most part. A couple guys maybe have made 5 for various reasons, but 56 laps in, they've made 4. They've got at least 3 more to go before they can call this one quits. But as long as they can do it safely, without any issues, we saw Brian Rose have an issue himself, getting not so much in pit lane as far as a penalty, but a blend line violation. That cost him 30 seconds extra stop the next time by. And again, Brian Rose sits 11th, 1 lap down. Brian Zinn retakes the top spot. Drew Blaze now back to P2. For a moment, at least. Leaders in some lap traffic here, and that is really mixing things up here as far as the draft is concerned. Brian Zinn at number 82 at the tail end of that pack now. He can kind of pick and choose which lane he wants to go with as he goes way high, goes a little higher than he needs to.
Oh, that top side is strong.
Well, you got some strong guys up at the front there. You got Mike Fahey, Justin Johnson. Justin's multiple laps down, but he still usually has a lot of pace. And again, him and Drew, they race well together. Oh man, that was close. I wasn't sure if he was going to catch the right rear of the 10 there. Oh, contact with Justin Johnson and Mike Fahey. We got a wreck off turn number 4.
Boy. Even sliding through the grass and everything, Michael Myers doesn't even change his expression at all.
Oh, Lordy. Didn't even really see... There's no indication even on our end that there was a crash, but you guys all saw it live. Let's try and rewind things here a bit so we can get a better idea of what y'all saw. This is off turn number 4. We saw it was real close there for a moment. See, Drew Blaze gets to the inside of Justin Johnson. Again, Justin's 17 laps down here, but he's out there having a good time. But Mike Fahey gets to the right rear of the 10. Fahey gets the wall here, but now Cody Anderson's trying to sneak by in the middle. Catches Johnson in the left rear, sends the 10 around. 42 gets a piece of it, so does the 911 of Bill Mulfeld. Brian Zinn looks like he's going to drive it all the way through the grass here. Well, that's how it looked. Drew Blaze now out in front. Britt Osborne second. Brian Zinn still third. Nicantoris is fourth. 30 seconds back, but now pit stops underway once again. Fahey having trouble getting to pit road.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Ooh.
That's not good for it.
Yeah, it's just a Mustang. It'll be fine.
Drew Blaze Got through with another one here. No issues for the one at this point. Locks up to fronts. He slides through the box, has to back it up. Another mistake there from a driver on pit road. We've talked about this so much tonight. Mike Fahey in the stream chat. I'm hammered. He did tell us pre-race that, yep, he's just going to drink his way through this one. Again, we don't advocate drinking and driving. This is just a video game, folks, so don't get too carried away with it. We're all here to have a good time, and glad to see these drivers in this race are doing just the same. See, Sean Roberts, guys are cracking up on Justin's stream. See, I don't have it running here. It would interfere. It's just using more CPU. I got to put an i9 in this thing one of these days.
Yeah, I've got it on, but I can't listen to the sound or else I'd be all kinds of confused on what's going on. But yeah, Justin just took the mask off. Looked like he was getting a little hot in there.
A little roasty toasty. Got to give him a big pat on the back, though. A lot of guys in this situation had that kind of failure at the start, would have said, forget it, I'll just watch the thing, no big deal. But he stuck to it, got that base working again, and even though was 17 laps down, came out and ran some laps, got some TV time for the paint scheme. Added to some drama here at the Speedway. See, now I'm getting a note, Justin Johnson crashed. Did he do it again?
I think he just towed back to the pits, but I'm not really sure why.
Watching the replay.
Might be having more issues.
Or he just checked out. Looks like he's checking out. He stops on the backstretch. Jumps to the pits. Yes, I guess he's done. Again, can't say I blame him. I give him a big pat on the back for coming out and running, even though after being 17 down, he didn't have a shot.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. I had to do kind of the same thing back in the Olivia Strong race. I was up front leading and had an internet problem, and when I loaded back in, I think I was about 7 laps down. It takes the wind right out of your sails.
It's tough to do. I mean, it's one thing if you're in a big season where you're running for points and every position kind of matters, but these one-off races, if you don't have a shot at winning, why are you still here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the mindset you have behind the wheel. It's like, oh, forget it. I'm done. I'll go find something else to do.
Happy to see our top threes pretty tight again, at least.
Yeah, Brian Zinn's still with the lead. Again, Brian Zinn's kind of unfamiliar. I don't know who he is, where he came from. I don't recall seeing him in the truck series with LSR at all, but he's been up front a good portion of the night. He can certainly take a push. The one of Drew Blaze sending him through the corner without issue. So yeah, the top three all under a blanket here. Lap 64 about to go on the board. The 12 of Cantoris, 34 seconds back in the 4th position. Again, no cautions here tonight. Wrecks happen. Oh well, is what it is. Currently 6 cars still on the lead lap. Mike Fahey in the stream chat. This is the first time I've ever opened and eaten a box of Cheez-Its while I'm driving.
I bet you it's not.
I'm going to say it's probably not either. I mean, I've done it.
Who hasn't? You
Right.
haven't lived.
They weren't really Cheez-Its, though. Hang on, let me look over my shoulder here. Cheez-Its snack mix. Double cheese.
Of course. I mean,
Shameless plug for a non-sponsor.
hint, hint.
Yeah, if Cheez-It wants to jump on board, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Drew Prohl down pit lane here. Again, fuel only for Drew Prohl. So now with that cycle, we have 4 cars on the lead lap. Brian Zinn, Drew Blaze, Britt Osborne, Larry Cantoris Jr. And Larry is 40 seconds in the rears. I don't know if he has any drafting help. Let's take a look, see where Larry runs now. He is all by his lonesome. So at this pace, unless he finds a drafting partner, he's going to go a lap down here soon as well. Again, he's got at least a full straightaway advantage over the leaders, but that's not much. Again, just going down the straightaway by itself, he's lost another 2 seconds.
Yeah, what do you think, Steve? Just a couple more laps, 2-3 laps?
If that. I mean, you saw how fast Drew Blaze was able to catch Brian Rose at the time just by gaining a drafting partner. Again, Larry's out here all by his lonesome. So Larry is at the stripe right now, and the leaders are just coming through the tri-oval. So we saw there was nobody behind him on the backstretch, and now all of a sudden they're right there. 8 seconds probably the difference between Kentoris Jr. and Brian Zinn. Dangerously close to going a lap down.
Yeah, watching the live timing just click by, it's pretty impressive how fast they're catching him.
Well, I look at Brian Zinn. His last lap of 50.31. So was Drew Blaze, ironically. Larry was a 54.35, so that deficit is going to be gone in a hurry. Unless Drew starts battling for the lead here as he's taking a peek to the outside. Looks like he might just be feeding some fresh air to the nose of that Mustang, keep things nice and cool. And again, we got to keep in mind we're at lap 67. They last pit at lap 60, so we're about 5 laps away from another round of pit stops. Still unsure what had caused our issues early on as far as the stream dropping out, and so did iRacing, but we've been pretty solid since then, knock on wood. 68 laps in of 100 here from Talladega Superspeedway. So I know we've got plenty of racing still to have here at Talladega, but lap 69 about to go on the board. Brian Zinn with the lead. Drew Blaze, Britt Osborne, your leaders, as Kentoris is now no longer on the lead lap. Grettenberger now moves up into the 4th spot. I don't know if Larry had an issue on the track. But going back to the thought I was just having, who is going to work with who here as we come down to the end? I mean, there's not a whole lot of race cars up near the front here. This 3-car breakaway of Zinn, Blaze, and it looks like Britt Osborne.
Well, I think you could look at it at least a couple ways here. I'm not sure who Brian's in races for, if he's part of Lonestar or not, but I know Drew Blaze and Britt Osborne certainly are, so they could possibly work together. Or, you know, maybe Brian and Britt both know how fast Drew normally is. Maybe they want to pair up and see if they can beat the one car.
I mean, you look at it this way, too, is this is not a regular season race by any means. This is a one-off, you know, have some fun kind of deal. And, you know, if you're Britt Osborne, you're behind these guys. If Drew Blaze pulls out to pass because he's got a shot at the win, maybe Britt goes with the 82 and then takes his own opportunity, depending on when Drew does it.
I'll tell you what I would do, Steve. I would find one of these lap cars I know I can run pretty well with, and I know they're not going to, you know, pull out or abandon me because they really have nothing to lose.
Stranger things have happened.
That's absolutely true.
70 laps, though. 30 to go as they cross the stripe here momentarily. They're catching Brian Rose here in a hurry. Rose up into the top 10 once again, but now about to go 2 laps down. I will tell you, though, if you can get Brian Rose as a lap car to work with you, he's one I would want pushing me.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, he made a mistake, and he doesn't have a whole lot to show for it here at Talladega, but he's pretty good at these places.
One car real slow on the backstretch.
Yeah, it looked like
down
Cody
low
Anderson. Looks like Cody had an issue. In fact, we'll get a quick look at that here. See if these guys bypass pit lane here.
He might be limping it back.
Let's take a peek, see what happened to Cody Anderson. Looks like you pulled a Brian Rose. Having an issue getting out of pit lane, I believe.
Pulling a Keaton. Ooh. Almost looks like a tire blew up there mid-corner.
Yeah, but this is after he left the pits.
What kind of tires did they give him?
Well, this was coming to the pits. Well, that's very interesting. Maybe, did he lose? No, he stays on the racetrack. Then he had another issue.
Maybe he's with Fahey.
Yeah, that could be. Fahey had an issue as well. It almost seems like his tires are flat. He can't get that thing going.
Oh, Cody just commented in the stream saying he's just out there having fun. I think he's done. He's just sending it a little bit before he got out.
Well, let's see how much fun Mike Fahey's having on the racetrack. This was coming to pit lane, or was it? No, just drives it through the grass. All right, guess he's not the only one having fun. Trying to shortcut it through. Wow, the infield grass at Talladega is actually very smooth, apparently.
Ooh. Who'd he come back out in front of there?
Sean Roberts says, trying to emulate Zach's victory slide, which I think is truly an emulation of Drew Blaze as well, right?
Yeah, we both kind of do a little drift thing.
All right, we'll get back to live TV here. Drew Blaze down pit lane, as well as Brian Zinn. Just leaving the pits now.
A little bit of a gap back to Britt now. I wonder, maybe somebody took tires that somebody didn't.
Looking at it, though, Drew Blaze pit stop time was 7:48. Brian's in an 8:42, and Osborne is 6:97. So there's no tires involved there.
Right.
Which is interesting because you see modern day, like right now, 4 tires and fuel in these next-gen Cup cars, they're turning these laps or these pit stops in about 9.5 seconds. In the sim, they're like, a good stop is low 14s.
Right. Well, regardless, they found each other again. We've got the top 3 under a blanket.
That's all that matters. As long as they have gotten back to each other, we've got a race to watch here. I know it's only 3 cars here up at the front of the field. We've got some other drivers here on the lead lap. It's the 30 of Hunter, Ron Hunter, that is. He's still about a half lap behind the leaders, but Cantoris has slipped to 5th. He's 1 lap down. Again, our pole sitter tonight.
Looks like Brian Rose disconnected.
So Brian Rose out of the race, and Cody says a little bit difficult in the next gen to the trucks. Guess he's talking about the transition from truck to next gen. They definitely handle a lot different.
Absolutely, I can definitely understand that.
Well, this goes against what I would normally do in any other league race, but I'm going to pop it up here anyway. We're finally able to load this in mid-race. This is our sponsors for tonight. Of course, Lonestar Racing, Drew Blaze Motorsports, Fahey Race Wraps, LSR Gaming X on Twitch, the Garza Law Firm, In the Draft Podcast, and Nueve Design. Certainly appreciate all of those sponsors coming on board to help support this series, support this race, support all these guys, many of them involved in it as well. Really cool to see on a regular basis. So thank you to all the sponsors that have a lot to do with this Halloween bash, and of course all of these special events that LSR puts on.
Yeah, they do a great job. It's always a good time, and it's a great group of guys.
Cody goes, no, the corner drifts. I can do it in the trucks. I haven't really tried it in the truck. I can do it in the ARCA car.
Oh yeah, the Arca, the super late, that's where it's at.
Well, a super late's easy. It weighs nothing and it's got a ton of power.
Basically how you make time. If you're not sideways, you're slow.
We saw that a little bit even in the Radical. That if you had it just perfect, you can kind of swing the rear end out a little bit in the corners on exit. And it was just enough to get a little bit more pace out of each lap. Andrew Locke in the LSR Sports Car Series kind of said the same thing about the LMP2. You kind of swing the rear end out a little bit and you get a little bit more speed, but you kind of got to walk that fine line. Because if you go too far, things going to go around.
Yeah, you're definitely on the razor's edge there when you're kicking the back end out. And I can definitely do it in the truck. I can do it in most stock car type vehicles without any worry. But you were certainly better at it than me in the Radical off throttle for sure. I couldn't come into a corner off throttle, kick it out without it coming around on me. But on throttle, it was a little easier.
So Mike Fahey says he got taken out. Guess it's time for another soda. Let's see if we can find what happened to Mike Fahey. Oh, right reared him. Pulled a Bubba.
Ooh. Is he going to get fined for that?
That was a hard impact for the next gen. I think Fahey's got a concussion after that one.
Yeah, there might be some invoices sent some different places after that one.
True Prole wrecking Mike Fahey hard. Big time impact.
Got some rear brake in that, don't you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just looks like it's going to stay locked up, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Broke something pretty good.
So Drew Blaze says he's in the pits. He's not. We got all sorts of technical issues going on tonight. We're going to reload the stream here, or not the stream, the overlay, and see what happens. Had me nervous there. It wasn't going to come back, but Drew Blaze no longer listed as in the pits. Still out in front. 421 of Britt Osborne runs in second. Ryan Zinn is third. Top three, the only cars on the lead lap still. Fahey says, oh, that wasn't a hard hit. Hard one came after I was sitting there. Well, see, now I got to go back and look, and I got to wonder if he's talking about something other than the racing incident. But we're going to watch it anyway to be sure.
I've got a feeling, yeah, it probably could be.
We're taking the time to watch it, Mike. I hope it's worth it.
This is for you, Mike. Gets it turned around.
Yeah, he was
yeah.
not lying. Somebody nailed the 19.
Glad we watched that. How'd we miss it?
Who hit him?
I think it's safe to say they're probably out.
We got to go to a wider angle for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the 48.
Oops.
Must not have seen that 3,400 pound car sitting there.
Maybe when you're that low, the color of Mike's car blended in, you know, maybe it was kind of hard to see. Benefit of the doubt.
Good possibility. But look at this. Britt Osborne taking over the top spot. Drew Blaze now back to second.
Boy, Sean Roberts hit the nail on the head. Britt is having a heck of a race tonight.
He really,
it's good
really
to see him up front.
Absolutely.
The mullet man himself, you know.
Drew Blaze taking the spot back. Bill Mofeld there. Not on the lead lap, but he's still playing a part here as far as the draft is concerned. The 42. Jeff Simpson there on the high side. He played a part as well. Not a lead lap machine. Running in the 8th spot, 2 laps down. But again, they're up here in this pack, in this draft. They're certainly going to come into play. 19 laps to go. You can punch a hole in the air. You can be of service. Fahey says in the stream chat, I turned my helmet into a fishbowl. Did you pull a Noah Gregson, or what did you do?
Oh, God. Hope not.
See, Drew Blaze is out in front of this thing, but this is not a shoe-in. Again, we are at a super speedway. The draft plays a part. You know, you don't have the advantage of, oh, I can lift a little bit later in this corner and get back to the throttle a little bit sooner, that kind of sort of thing. Not the case here at Talladega. You are kind of at the mercy of the help that you have and being able to block the run that may or may not be coming. You got to kind of mirror drive the entire time, especially if you're out front.
There's no points. There's no big picture here. It's everything to get that win. And Steve, I think I already know the answer, but we get down to about 5 to go. Where do you want to be?
Honestly, a lot of it depends on the truck or the car or whatever I'm in. I don't have a lot of experience in the next-gen car, and I don't have any in it at all, actually, since they've done the update. And from what I hear, it's a lot better than it once was. Previously, I wanted to be on my couch watching the race with 5 to go, not anywhere near the racetrack. But with things that have changed up, I guess the guys kind of like it. In most scenarios, I don't want to be in the lead with 5 to go. I don't want to be in the lead with 2 to go. I want to try and make that move once and then win the race. I mean, if you can make it on the last lap, I know it's exciting and it's, you know, talking about going to Hollywood movies and all this, but you want to make it late. Oh, pit stop's underway once again here. Oh, Britt's going to be way fast entering pit lane. Too fast, too fast. Can he get it woed down? Oh, he might have got it. He got it woed down.
He might have did it.
Good job by Britt Osborne. Nice job of getting on a pit lane. Talk about shadow boxing. He's just driving everybody's box. Concrete's got more grip.
He doesn't want to take any chance.
Nope.
Yeah. After that, he's done. He just wants to.
Oh, but he misses the pit box. He has to back it up.
Uh-oh. He jinxed him again.
So hopefully he can get out of here. Does he take tires? No, thank goodness. He didn't have that thing checked. Neither did Drew Blaze or Brian Zinn. Sean Robertson in chat says, going to be one more stop before this is over. Yep, we got 16 to go right now. I think 11, 12 laps is all they were able to go on a stop or on a tank of fuel. So we'll see how this pans out. Britt Osborne very carefully on that yellow line. Hopefully he's not going to get a penalty for that unsafe exit or the blend line violation. I don't know how far he can go.
You can see the gap too, that he's got a little bit of a distance between the front two now. It looks like just over 6 seconds.
The good news is he does have a drafting partner, albeit a lap down car of Jeff Simpson, the 42 behind him. So that does help. And he's got Bill Molfeld as well, the 911. If they can get linked up, 3 cars drafting together, that's going to be a lot faster than Drew Blaze and Brian Zinn by themselves. In fact, no, it's Drew Blaze and Mike Fahey, as he says in the stream chat a while ago, oh no, we're not done yet. Got to go help the teammate. So he's out there going to draft with Drew Blaze. But again, those 3 behind, if they can work together and stay lined up, they can cut into that deficit. Again, like Sean Roberts mentioned in the chat, we got another pit stop coming, so anything can happen. Drew Blaze slides up the racetrack. Don't know if it was an ill-timed push by Mike Fahey. Hey, don't forget, Mike Fahey's kind of on the sauce right now, so I wouldn't want him pushing me either. I think Drew Blaze is just going to follow him for a little while to be safe.
Yeah, I think he made the decision of just following Mike and let Mike hit his own line.
With that, we're going to take our final break, get out of here. We'll be back. Again, side-by-side action, so you won't miss anything. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to virtual Talladega Super Speedway, the Lonestar Racing Halloween Bash. Closing laps here, 11 to go. Still got one more pit stop to be concerned with. Drew Blaze still your leader. Teammate Mike Fahey multiple laps down, but out in front, kind of providing some draft assistance to teammate Drew Blaze. You've got the 48 there as well, playing a part. Britt Osborne back in the second spot, 4.8 seconds in the rears. That group really needs to do a better job of getting tightened back up if they're going to try and put on a challenge. You see the distance between them. It's now growing. It was down to 4.8. Now it's 5 seconds, though they do have a fourth car in the mix. It's just a matter of, can they get single file and tight on each other's bumpers? Oh, Wolfeld, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, and you see it now. The 42, oh man, he almost took out Brian Zinn there. That was close. The 42 was taking a move to the outside. That's not going to help that 4-car draft be any quicker. In fact, they've lost a couple of more tenths in just a half a lap. So Drew Blaze walking away right now with some drafting assistance up in front. It may really come down to that final pit stop. Sean Roberts in the stream chat would really love to see Britt win this. Hopefully I didn't just jinx him. Sean, we would like to see him win it too. I mean, he's had a good solid run tonight. We like Drew Blaze, but well, he's won enough. It's somebody else's turn, right?
It would be cool to see Britt take this.
It really would, but unfortunately the way things are going now, they've lost a full second again. You see Drew Blaze just tandem drafting with with Mike Fahey here at the front of the field. Again, Fahey not on the lead lap. He's 14th, 12 laps down. But again, teammates doing some work here together. Nothing against the rules with this. In real life or even in the sim, you can go out there, you can run your race and help a teammate with some drafting assistance, and that's what's happening here at the front of the field.
Now keep in mind too, if they come in here in the next couple laps for their pit stop and maybe somebody in this front group makes a mistake, it might be 1 or 2 cars versus that 4-car pack. It might be just enough time.
Well, we can only wait and see what happens. Deficit back to second now, 6.5 seconds.
Yeah, they're still dicing it up, unfortunately.
See, that's the thing. It's like you've got guys back here battling for position, which, in all honesty, it's... If you're a driver in this pack, and this is a one-off race, there's no awards or money or anything like that for positions further back in the pack, as the lead pack actually starts to hit pit lane right now with 8 laps to go.
Somebody maybe missed it, too. I see a lockup on the front straight.
But with that said, it's like, why are you battling for a couple of positions at mid-pack or worse? Just line up and help the guy who's running second. You know, who doesn't like Britt Osborne? Give him a shot. Exactly. Try to get him back up there, see what happens. Drew Blaze gets to his pit stall very cleanly, comes to a stop, dead nuts right in the middle. Oh, Fahey misses it. Oh, this could be a problem. Go. Oh, wait, no, did he back up on purpose? I think he left early. Nope. Fahey missed the box completely.
That's huge. And look at this gap behind Drew, too. This might just be a little 2-car tandem.
Yeah, but he's got Dave Ballard in front of him, though. He can draft up to that 48. We'll see how it shakes out. Britt Osborne's going to have to pit here pretty soon as well, but it looks like these guys took the time to do it a little bit early. Britt Osborne down pit lane. Oh, and he loses it a little bit on entry. Keeps it off the wall. Hopefully he doesn't get nabbed for speeding. If he gets away with that clean, he might be okay.
He's getting all he can get. Gingerly comes to a stop.
Again, I don't want to sound like we're rooting against Drew Blaze here, but I'm sorry. We got to cheer for Britt Osborne here. It's just the way it is. He's having a great run tonight. He's got an opportunity. We see if he can make it pull up, make it turn out for him. Brian Zinn, though, does exit pit lane ahead of Osborne. So Zinn, your new leader, at least for the moment. And then Drew Blaze just goes by at speed again, drafting off the backside there of David Ballard. So that's going to be a huge difference. These guys are just coming back up to speed. So this is going to be a tough one to make up. 4 seconds, now 5 seconds back to second place. Going to be 6 seconds before you know it.
It looks like Fahey found Blaze again, so they're probably going to hook up and...
Well, my guess being that Fahey is multiple laps down, he probably just waited.
Yeah.
Sat in the box until he could get out there and catch the one there and get lined up 3 cars. Now there's another one there that may tuck in behind as well.
Going to be the difference right there.
It's the 155 of Ken Blackburn. He's still a ways off. But again, you see the difference here. Drew Blaze just tandem drafting. He can really turn some lightning laps at the front of the field. I don't even think it's necessary at this point. He's got a 5.8 second advantage on that second pack. And that is really the difference between the two packs, or so to speak. Ooh, the 19 slides up the racetrack again. They're just, you know, you look at Drew Blaze, he's tandem drafting. I mean, that is the ultimate way to go fast on these super speedways. Yeah, engine's going to get hot, but Blaze has so much experience here in the sim. He knows when he's going to pull out and get some fresh air on the grill of that machine, cool it down, then he can tuck back in and go back after it. The gap is 6 seconds. It's kind of about where it was prior to the pit stop, so actually rather impressive round of stops for Brian Zinn and Britt Osborne alike.
We got 5 cars here in this second pack. If they could just put it together, I don't know how close they could get, but boy, they could probably make up some ground.
If you had 5 drivers that were willing to get within inches of each other for the next 4 laps, they absolutely would catch that top 3.
Yes.
Top 4 for that matter. I mean, they would absolutely get there. Now, again, Drew Blaze is more than comfortable doing that tandem draft that we've been talking about. That is with David Ballard. I don't know how comfortable David Ballard is with it, but so far, so good. We should see how close Drew is to the back bumper of that number 48 Li machine. Ken Blackburn not able to keep up, though.
We just came to the line with only 3 to go, so...
So here's the other thing you got to think about, though. If you're going to tandem draft like this, you got to worry about an oops kind of push. You get the 48 there crossed up, and all of a sudden he's wrecking in front of you. There's no cautions to save you. So if Blaze has that happen, he's got to check up considerably to avoid contact. All of a sudden, Brian Zinn, Britt Osborne, they're right there. But again, 2 laps to go. Something crazy is going to have to happen.
And it looks like the second group's catching them very little. It's definitely not going to be enough, but... Just as I say that, it looks like they're losing ground again, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you win some, you lose some each lap. And unfortunately, with a lap and a half to go, I think this one's going to belong to Drew Blaze as long as they can make it to the finish clean. I think Mike Fahey at this point, he's just kind of hanging there as a backup plan for Drew Blaze. White flag is in the air for Drew Blaze. Didn't have the pace to start on the pole position, but he again carefully worked his way through the field, got the number 1 machine out in front. Now he's got some teammate help keeping him out there as that second place group. Brian Zinn and Britt Osborne unable to close the gap. Down the backstretch for the final time. Drew Blaze tucked in behind David Ballard, the number 48 Li Chevrolet. Again, Ballard not on the lead lap, but it doesn't matter. The draft works the same no matter what lap you're on through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Ballard slides out to let that winning moment go. And contact between Ballard and Pearl as they cross the stripe. Drew Blaze is going to win it. Second place is going to go to Britt Osborne. Just edges out the 82 of Brian Zinn for third. Ron Hunter, Larry Cantoris Jr., your top 5. So Drew Blaze with the Dent Zones. Lonestar Racing takes home the checkered flag in the Lonestar Racing Halloween Bash. Does he light him up? Come on, Drew, light it up.
Synchronized, look at that.
Just like that, Drew Blaze exits the session. Oh, he's back. So with that, we're going to step aside, get our final break before we talk to our top 3. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back after this.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Talladega Super Speedway, the Lonestar Racing Halloween Bash. Your winner, Drew Blaze. See if we can get Drew up in the broadcast booth, get a word Drew, it's Steve and Zach Millett in the broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Yes, sir.
Drew, congratulations on the victory here tonight. I don't know if you had a strategy planned out for the race this evening. Of course, no cautions. We had unlimited tire sets, to which I don't think anybody took one of them. Fuel only stops, but about 7 or 8 of them. Tell us what your plan was coming into tonight, how you executed it, and coming down to it, working with some teammates, maybe to keep the draft of that number 1 machine out in front.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I was improvising pretty much the whole race. Just, I'd get in with some guys and be running, and then we'd have a pit stop, and somebody would mess up the pit stop, and then I have to find a whole new group to get with. And then, there at the end, I had Mike and David Ballard helping me out. So, just improvising the whole race and doing fuel strategy. I did take one set of tires on lap 50 or so because it was getting pretty slippery coming off the pit road.
Well, we kind of wondered the same thing. We talked about it a bunch during the race, myself and Zach alike. If you could make this entire race without changing tires, but interesting that you did take just right sides. Left sides, of course, made it the whole 100 laps. Could you have made it all the way to the end on no tires? I'm just curious if that was a possibility.
You can, but I think some of these guys did, but it's very slippery coming out of pit road. I saw a lot of guys getting, crossed up. I even got myself crossed up once coming out of the pit. So, I just didn't want to run into any issues there. So, I just played it safe and, took that set of tires, and it was fine from there. I didn't feel too bad even at the end.
Yeah, we saw kind of the same thing happen there with Brian Rose. I don't think he took tires, but he had a problem getting out of pit lane, got the car all crossed up, and got the commitment cone or the blend line violation. It cost him 30 seconds in the pits and ultimately a chance at a shot later on in the race. But nevertheless, you here at the front of the field, Drew Blaze, Britt Osborne, Brian Zinn, the top 3. Did you have a good battle there with Britt Osborne and Brian Zinn? I know we saw it here on the stream itself. Good to see Britt Osborne near the front of the field.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Britt. That's a fantastic run. Glad to see it from him. Can't be more happy for him. And everybody ran just a great race. But yeah, it's just like I said, just improvising the whole race. You really can't mess up any pit stops where you're gonna fall back and you don't know where you're out by yourself. Or, you could be in a whole pack. You really don't know, but it's going to put you behind, so you really have to be precise and not get the pit road penalties and do everything right.
Well, experience certainly helping you out here at Talladega Superspeedway. Again, making 8 pit stops without an issue. That is not easy to do. I mean, obviously, if you've been doing it a long time, it does get easier with time, but it had to happen tonight. No cautions to speak of, so you had nothing to fall back on if you made a mistake. You were scot-free the rest of the afternoon and all of this race. Congratulations, Drew. Next race here, again, as far as the special events are concerned, I think it's the Lonestar Racing Toys for Tots event. Going out to Auto Club Speedway. What are your thoughts there?
I love Auto Club. I was one of the guys that advocated for us to run that track for that event. I love that place, and it's got multiple grooves, and you can run on the bottom, you can run on the top, and have a bunch of momentum. It's just really good racing. So, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's just going to be another good time with these LSR guys. I can't be more happy.
All right, Jewel. Again, congratulations on the win here at Talladega. We're going to let you go. Anyone you want to shout out to before you do?
Just Lonestar Racing. In the Draft Podcast, Justin Johnson, Mike Fahey, Fahey Race Reps, and thank you for putting on the broadcast, UN Millet. You guys are great, so appreciate you guys for that. And that's all I got.
All right, Drew. Again, nice job, and we'll see you Thursday at the Glen.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's Drew Blaze, your race winner here from Talladega Superspeedway. Next, we're going to Britt Osborne with a top 2 finish. Let's pull Pops up into the broadcast booth. Britt, it's Steve and Zach Millett in the broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Steve Singer, Zach Millett. How the hell are you boys doing?
Not as good as you, sir. I thought we had a chance to see you in victory lane tonight, but one spot shy. I'm sure you'll take it. It was a great finish, a great race for you. tell us about strategy coming into tonight, and was there anything you could have done differently, maybe to track down winner Drew Blaze and take this thing from him?
I'm going to be completely honest. I have zero strategy knowledge. All I did was I pitted with the group I was with, and I did my best to have which is the first time I've had no pit penalties. I overran my pit box one time, not by much, and this is one of the best races I've ever run.
Well, certainly a fun one to watch. I mean, you talk about overrunning the pit box just one time. Now, I think the margin of victory here was about 6 seconds. How much time do you think you lost on that one cycle of pit stops?
Oh, I bet that was probably about it, because I mean I missed it by about 4 feet and had to back up. So that'd have been 2 or 3 seconds easy right there.
Certainly could have changed a lot of things as far as the outcome goes. You would have had a better shot at it, but man, we certainly do got to congratulate you for it. Second place finish here at Talladega. There was only 3 cars on the lead lap, and you were right there smack dab in the middle of it. So that's a feat in itself. You beat some guys that certainly have pace at a lot of these tracks. You did a great job tonight, Britt, so we certainly congratulate you for it.
Well, I have to admit, part of what helped me in this, when we had Daytona week, I got addicted to this racing. And I actually went from an A license all the way down to a C, and then didn't pay attention. It was the end of the season, so I didn't have my safety up. I went all the way down to a D. So I've had a bunch of laps on these tracks, and it hurt my license, but it paid off during this.
Well, you certainly learn how to race by having problems and making mistakes and that sort of thing. So it was a great race for you, man. We're happy to see it. Congratulations again on the second place finish. The next time I think we're going to see maybe the truck series next week at the Glen. You going to make that one?
Oh man, the trucks are my favorite. That's why I was so depressed to get down to a D. I've actually got it back up to a C so I can run my trucks again.
Well, next week, again, Thursday, we run the Lonestar Racing Truck Series at Watkins Glen, so good luck there. I know it's totally different from what a lot of these guys are used to running, but we've seen you run some of the road course stuff, so maybe you got a leg up and you have another solid finish there next week.
I'm hoping so. I mean, all that road coursing, I never was really good at it, but I got to where I could be at least safe and complete laps, so maybe that's all that'll take.
Well, mistake-free certainly usually results in decent finishes. We wish you the best next week there, Britt. Congratulations again on P2 today. We're going to let you go. Before we do, anyone you want to thank?
I'd like to thank God. He's blessed me more than I deserve. My beautiful wife, she loves me. She supports me racing. On most of my cars, you can see colorstreet.com. That is her business. Lonestar Racing and everybody that has just cheered me on from day one. I'd like to thank you for the broadcast. You do an awesome job. And man, boogity, boogity, boogity. Can't wait for the next one.
All right, Brett. Well, thanks for the kind words, man. Again, awesome run. Good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
It was Brett Osborne, your second place finisher here at Talladega. Next, we're going to pull Brian Zinn up into the broadcast booth, see if we can get a word with him. Brian, it's Steve and Zach in the HBR TV broadcast booth. You got a good copy?
Yes, sir. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, sir. Congratulations on the top 3 finish here tonight. I know it was just kind of bragging rights. Everybody wanted to finish first here and win this thing, but you were out front for quite a bit tonight. Seems that you kind of excel here on the super speedways. I'm not super familiar with you. I haven't seen you in the Lonestar Racing Truck Series. So first off, how did you make it to this race tonight? And tell us about strategies and anything maybe you could have done different to finish, well, ahead of Britt Osborne or Drew Blaze.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a funny story. So Justin Johnson with Lonestar Racing happened to be in a Carb Cup race that I was doing, and he just kind of threw it out there as the race was getting going that whoever finished 4th place in the race got an invite to the race, and lo and behold, I was lucky number 4. So he shot me over the invite, and I took it, and it sounded like a lot of fun, and it turned out to be a lot of fun. So I was glad I did it. As far as strategy, it was really just kind of finding a group of cars to work with. Avoided a couple of incidents that happened early on, and then really just kind of try to position myself near the front as the laps clicked off, trying not to speed in pit lane or overshoot my box or anything. And it paid off. I try to slow Brit down there on the run to the flag. Unfortunately, he had help that I was hoping would stick with me, and it just didn't come to fruition. But that's super speedway racing.
Yeah, definitely need to have a dancing partner you can trust as it comes down to a checkered flag here at Super Speedways. It was really good to watch you out here tonight. Very impressive run out of Brian Zinn. My question is, do you have any interest in coming to run these trucks here, even though we're midway through the season with the Lonestar Racing Truck Series?
I may actually. I've been kind of poking around the Discord for these Lone Star guys for a while. It seems like a great group. My background is primarily road racing, GT, sports cars, prototypes, that kind of thing. But I'll do the NASCAR series off and on, especially super speedways. I love racing them, and occasionally on the road course too. So I've been wanting to get into oval racing. I've got a bunch of friends that I race with on iRacing that are more oval specialists. So I may, dip my toes over in that side of the pool. I might explore coming on out.
Well, next week might be a perfect opportunity for you because the Lone Star Racing Truck Series stops at Watkins Glen International next week. So maybe something you want to talk to Justin Johnson about because it might be an opportunity.
Yeah, I just might. It could work out. Sounds fun though.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for chatting with us, man. Good job at P3. We're gonna let you go. Before we do, anyone you want to thank?
Well, I think first and foremost, I got to thank Justin for extending the invite. So it's a lot of fun. Many thanks to Justin and Lone Star Racing folks for having me. Got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I got to thank my buddy Don, who was spotting for me tonight. Got to thank my wife for supporting this addiction that's called sim racing. Definitely those folks.
All right, Brian. Well, again, thanks for chatting with us, man. Good luck going forward. Hope to see you next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
It's Brian Zinn, your third place finisher here from Talladega, Alabama. Race has come to its conclusion, of course. We just talked to our top 3 finishers. Let's take a look at the official race results. Well, they're not really official, but usually they stand pretty good. We talked to our top 3, Drew Blaze, Britt Osborne, Brian Zinn. 4th was Ron Hunter. Larry Cantoris Jr., the pole sitter, was 5th. Bill Mulfeld, a great run for the 911, finishes P6. Jeff Simpson was 7th. Kevin Grettenberger, P8. Drew Prohl finished in the 9th spot. Dave Ballard was 10th. Kenneth Blackburn, the 155, finished 11th. Lloyd Ryder finished in the 12th spot. Again, an early race incident for Ryder. Bill Martin was 13th. Mike Fahey was 14th. Brian Rose, after a pit exit mistake, unfortunately for Brian Rose, finishes P15. Cody Anderson was 16th. Justin Johnson, 17th. Again, unable to make the start due to a mechanical issue with his wheelbase. And then last but not least, Vincent Short, credited with last place, 100 laps down, was not able to even make the start at all, just due to work commitments. Vincent is actually a law enforcement officer in, I believe, Illinois or Indiana. I forget. I think it's Indiana. A little bit of overtime for Vincent Short, so made some of that extra scratch, but not able to come here and compete tonight. I know he was looking forward to it, but tough break for the 15. Look forward to seeing him possibly at the next one. So, Millet, I know this was something that was kind of an unknown coming into Talladega Super Speedway, basically a 50% race length cup race, a little bit more, honestly. No cautions to speak of. That was the plan. Unlimited tire sets, to which nobody needed, really. And a 35% fuel load. We didn't really know what to expect, but now that it's over, tell me your thoughts. I mean, how did it play out on your end?
Honestly, I think the best part about the race was that 35% fuel load, because it really made it interesting. If these guys got out on track, didn't have any dancing partners, it made them actually, have to bunch back up a lot sooner than normal. So it made it interesting. Some of these guys who had trouble, they stayed out on the track and they still got the race. They still helped the leaders make time, and it was certainly fun to watch.
Absolutely was. It was a blast to watch. I didn't have the highest hopes, and Justin knew that. I voiced my concerns about, man, this could be really bad if it doesn't go well. I told him that, and he's like, nope, this is how we're going to do it. He was confident in the plan, and, well, he was right. It turned out pretty decent. I know we only had 3 cars on the lead lap, but again, with no cautions, and again, a 50% cup race with, 8 green flag stops, that's going to happen. We really only had one kind of major wreck that I think could have brought out a caution, so even without the cautions, I think we still had a decent race. Across the board, I give it an A-, just because nobody gets a perfect score. It's just how I work. But Justin Johnson, nicely done. Congratulations to those guys here at Lone Star Racing. Again, be ready for it. The Toys for Tots race coming up pretty soon. Let's see if I can get that up here on the board. I don't even have it labeled right because I had to add it midpoint. Nope, those are the sponsors. We screwed that up already. No, here we go. The Lone Star Racing Toys for Tots charity race. That's coming up December 4th, 6 p.m. Central. That'll be 7 p.m. in the East for those of you on the Eastern Seaboard side of things. $15 donation gets you into it. And again, all those proceeds go to Toys for Tots. Justin does a fabulous job making sure that we show proof of that donation post-race, so you don't have to worry at all about where that money is going. Again, it'll be Camping World trucks, fixed setups, 100 laps. The rules will essentially be the iRacing official style rules, so no need to worry about favoritism or anything to that effect. Caution comes out, caution comes out. Doesn't matter how big or small that wreck is going to be. It's all done by the sim. You don't need to worry about any of that. In the Draft podcast, of course, sponsoring that. GTR Simulator as well. I'm sure there will be more. Justin does a great job in the background trying to get all that stuff situated. So if you're interested in racing it, please contact Justin Johnson here through, you can find him Lone Star Racing on Facebook. Check those guys out, or even us here at HBR TV. You can message me and I'll get the information to Justin. It doesn't matter. We're covering the race as far as the broadcast is concerned. Again, that is facebook.com/HBR TV and the number 1. As far as the stream is concerned, same handle, but over on the YouTube side of things, HBR TV, the number 1. And if you get anything that looks like, well, this doesn't look right, well, look for the races, guys. You can look at the videos and see what's what. You're all smart enough to figure it out. I'm not smart enough to make it work better, so figure it out. That's all I can really say. But again, Lone Star Racing, check those guys out. They do a ton of these charity races throughout the course of the year, always for good causes. Toys for Tots is next, and I think Justin Johnson has another surprise announcement coming post-race here. Keep an eye out for that as well. Again, the sponsors we got to thank tonight. Lone Star Racing, of course, the league that puts this on, the race team that puts this on, but of course the sponsors involved, Drew Blaze Motorsports, Fahey Race Wraps, LSR Gaming X on Twitch, and the Garza Law Firm, as well as In the Draft podcast and Nueve Design. Certainly appreciate their participation and assistance with all of these big races. They're always involved. Again, In the Draft, of course, involved with the regular season, the Lone Star Racing Truck Series. They are the sponsor of the feature winner. Of course, we forgot them last week, but don't worry, we'll get it right next week. Zach, unless you got something else, I think we're about squared away. What do you say?
Yeah, I think we're good to go. Just a big thanks to everybody in the stream chat. It was fun chatting it up during the race, and yeah, I can't wait for the next one.
And a lot of the drivers pop in the stream chat. Some of them do it while they're racing. Keaton Burnett's notorious for that. Unfortunately, we didn't see Keaton tonight. Kind of disappointed in that, but I'm sure he'll be around for the next one. So with that, again, I got to echo those sentiments from Zach. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you to all who participated in the chat outside of the drivers because, well, it's expected. If you're going to text and drive, you might as well do it here at HBR TV. So thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next week. We've got a lot coming up. Mondays we're off right now, kind of getting into the slow season, but Tuesdays we're still in playoff action. The Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series, that goes live about 9 p.m. in the East. Wednesdays we're off. Then we're back at Watkins Glen on Thursday with the Lone Star Racing Truck Series. And a couple of things peppered in between. Of course, we'll make posts about anything of any significance on facebook.com/HBR TV and the number 1. Tune in, like, follow, share, subscribe. Most important, turn on notifications. If you don't have those turned on and you're a busy bee like me, you're going to forget. That's all I got. So for Zach Millett, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Drew Blaze, winning the Lone Star Racing Halloween Bash. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.